Okay, and now it's time for... Whoa! Oh, this is actually getting pretty good here. Well, folks, welcome once again to another episode of In the Library of Graphic Literature from that secret undisclosed location I keep talking about. I, of course, am your host, Wallace Ryan, and this is what we're going to be talking about today. Here is one of the gems, I think, of the Library of Graphic Literature is a complete collection of the Library of American Comics. Drum roll, please. And oh, I love them. I can't love them enough, you know. I kiss them constantly. Anyway. The Library of American Comics, for those of you who are new to the world of comics in hardcover, is an imprint of IDW. The Library of American Comics was founded in 2007 by Dean Mullany and Bruce Canwell, and their first book, actually, fresh out of the starting gate, was the Terry and the Pirates here. So here we go. This is where it all starts. And what a way to start. I mean, Milton Caniff, he's, and this one too. I mean, I can remember when I first bought this. I'd seen pictures, I'd seen samples of strips of Caniff's work and stuff like that, but I'd never really seen, the full-on stuff. And when I seen, oh my God, this new company here, the Library of American Comics, are coming out with a complete collection of Terry and the Pirates, of course, I went nuts for it. I went so nuts for it that they had to take me away. No, I went so nuts for it, I knew that I had to have the entire collection. And what a collection. I mean, beautifully done. And I was able, and I found it very alarming, of course. But yeah, it was great. I got to dive in for the first time into some Caniff's undisputed masterpiece of comic strip art, and it was fabulous. I loved his use of spotted blacks. I loved his colored strips, his Sunday strips. And the printing, of course, was very well done. It was just like, wow, now this is a quality reprint of the series. And the thing I also like and which I like about all the books too, about all the Library of American Comics, is that they have all these great introductions written by really cool, very knowledgeable people. Hopefully one day they'll get me to write an introduction to some book. But yeah, and so it really does. They're great reads because they really set the pace. There are like some great pictures of the artists involved and stuff like that. So I fell in love with them right off the bat. Absolutely love them. Now here, there's one missing here, and that's just because it's in my stack right there, my reading stack. Because during the COVID outbreak, I decided I'm going to try to. Try to read as much of this collection as I can. I've read a fair amount of it, but I have to get in more. I have to get more done. Then following quickly upon that was, of course, the Dick Tracy, and I bought the first one thinking, oh, not too bad, whatever. It was okay, and I kept buying them. Then they finally upped them into this bigger size, which I actually really like. And I fell in love with it. I liked the early ones and all that, and they were starting to they really introduced me to Dick Tracy, and it really got me into it, and sort of got me excited more and more and more as I went along. And let's take one here from the 50s, sure. And here's one here, and I fell in love with it. There's just something really cool about Ghouls. Well, the stories are great. I love the stories. His gadgets, his villains. His villains, from Flat Top all the way through, his villains were just so cool. All right, absolutely love them. But I mean his artwork is. I mean, it's fairly stylized in a way, but I like the style. There's just something hard bitten and lantern jawed about the whole thing. Absolutely fabulous strip. And I'm almost caught up with this. I've read up until to the very recently until the very end, and this one is coming close to completion. So there's only a few more volumes left of the complete Dick Tracy by Chester Gould. So if you can get any copies, run out and pick them up. If you could get all of them, it'd be even better. Now I've heard some rumors that they're going to reprint the original 6 volumes, which, as you can see, are slightly smaller than what was to come. And I would probably trade up. I think myself. I mean, I am going to keep these, but I think I will trade up for sure. And also too, because I'm a completionist. I always want to have a complete set of the Library of American Comics. So I'm going to keep at it, even if they issue some reprints. Because I've seen talk of them reprinting Terry and the Pirates and stuff like that. I'd hate to say it, but I'd have to do it. Next in line, of course, came Little Orphan Annie. And Little Orphan Annie, when I first bought them, I thought that Little Orphan Annie was, more or less, I had an idea that it was something like out of the musical about, and it was, the adventures of some orphan girl, and that, tomorrow, I love you tomorrow, all that type of stuff. But I started to read it, and it was just like, my God, these are absolutely amazing strips. I fell in love with it right away. The great adventure strips, it just keeps on going. And the art is very cool. I do like the art. But Gray was Gray. I think he really did it in this strip. And like I say, it was funny because when I originally bought this, I bought this thinking, well, I'll buy the first volume as a sampler. At the time I was thinking, well, I'll buy the first of all the volumes from this company and all that, and and I'd have at least a sample of all these comic strips. But once I read this, it was just like, oh my God, I gotta start buying all of these, and that's what did it. I was hooked, and I kept on going from there. As you can see, I'm right up to the 50s there now, right up from 25 years there of Little Orphan Annie. Don't you like that? The other thing I like, about hardcovers and books as opposed to comics being in the comic boxes is that, and this was a friend of mine that said this to me. I didn't even realize it until he said it. He said, "Wow, when I walk into your room, I can look and I can see your collection without having to go through boxes," and that has to do with, of course, the Masterworks and everything else, which is pretty cool. So, so on I went. Of course, then came Rip Kirby. Rip Kirby, I really liked Rip Kirby from Alex Raymond. This is an absolutely stunningly drawn comic, of course, because Raymond was like the one of the early masters. I mean, back in the day, everyone used to copy off of Raymond, and these strips, I mean, they're very well. Like I say, the reproduction is pretty good. The stories are great detective type of work. I love these type of stories myself. And great characters. It was amazing. I mean, Alex Raymond, truly one of the gods of newspaper strips. Unfortunately, of course, Raymond died shortly into it. Well, 4 volumes in. Then John Prentice takes over, and it's still serviceable. Actually, it's still not too bad. Next along came, and I have the first volume over there, Steve Canyon. I'm rereading the Steve Canyon. I'm rereading the last volume of the Terry and the Pirates. But I wanted to have a look at what the Steve Canyon was like, and when I bought it, I liked it immediately. It had that same sort of sense of adventure in a faraway land that Terry and the Pirates had. Of course, the artwork was stunning, very nicely done. So I'm in the middle of reading this now, and hopefully, within the, at least or before the pandemic ends. Anyway, I'm hoping to have all this read. And like I say, beautiful reproduction with the Library of American Comics. I really got to give it to the folks for that. All right, absolutely stunning. So let's slide this back in there. Okay. Now, of course, Rip Kirby. Then there was this X9. This was actually based on from this one I had to have too. This was the Dashiell Hammett and Alex Raymond's Secret Agent X9. And of course, like I say, I loved even his early work. I loved his Raymond's early work, and of course with a writer like Dashiell Hammett aboard. I mean, come on, gotta be good, right? So this one came out a little bit after. I think it was after the X9 by Al Williamson and Archie Goodwin. And this one too. This one is another one that I'm still in the middle of reading. Love the cover designs, everything about the Library of American Comics. I love. Once again, beautiful artwork in this by Williamson. I mean, just absolutely stunning. This was real secret agent type of stuff. Great artwork. But yeah, I loved it. By the great Al Williamson and Archie Goodwin. I actually met Archie Goodwin. It was 88 or 89. I was down in New York, and I was doing an article on comics, and I went to Marvel, and I got to meet him. Really nice guy. Really nice guy. Okay, now, let's slide this back in without damaging anything there. Now, there's a few big ones too that are really nice. I'm not going to haul out obviously every single one of these, but this one in particular I will haul out. This is Flash Gordon and Jungle Jim. I mean, look at this. Look at the size of this monster. Eh? I mean, come on. And this one is absolutely, well, Flash Gordon. I mean, it's one of the classic strips of all time. And I love these. This one too. I love this book. And then it switches sometimes back and forth between Jungle Jim and them. And but the artwork was just absolutely fabulous. And like I say, there were a lot of early cartoonists comic strip artists who would, steal from Alex Raymond, because he had some of the best figures. I mean, the drawing is just absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. And this too, these are beautiful books. I mean, look at the size of this sucker, right? And I like the fact that it's these strips done big, which is how they should be done. They deserve this kind of treatment. Then there was Holly and Her Pals, the Superman comic strips there. Behind all this junk here is basically a lot of the artist editions and stuff like that for it. And then coming up here, we have one of the more recent ones here, For Better For Worse, Lynn Johnson's classic comic strip, which I didn't read at the. I mean, I've read some of them over the years here and there, and I kind of liked it. It's funny in a way. I think of this is almost a precursor, or well, I mean, it was around the same time that you had people like Harvey P. Kerr starting to come out with American Splendor and stuff like that, and into the 80s, and then on to people like Joe Mad and Seth and Peter Bagg, the new realism, as we like to call it. So yeah, pretty cool. Here, of course, there's the Star Trek UK series there, then the newspaper strip there, which interesting enough. What Fools These Mortals Be, story of Putt magazine. Then, of course, Miss Fury. Only 2 of that, but hey, pretty cool. Little Abner here, at least up to what is it? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, it's up there anyway. Anyway, this one I hear is going to be. I haven't seen any recent ones for that out. King of the Comics, 100 Years of Kings, Beyond. Oh, this one is cool. Williamson and Lee Lewis. Beyond Mars, really cool. Starhawk, 3 volumes from Gil Kane, the classic thing. Star Wars, the 3 volumes of that. Then Russ Manning's classic Tarzan strip. This is a beauty, isn't it? And then these little volumes here, these are the Library of American Comics Essentials. These I like just because they're, I mean, they got, they're like tiny volumes done on the strip format here. And they're pretty cool too, because you get a sense of what some of these other strips are like. I stack them on top of each other, like that. And then up here, oh yeah, Skippy by Percy Crosby. This is actually a really cool strip. This is a precursor in a lot of ways to some of the greater strips to come, like Peanuts and all that. Red Barry, that was pretty cool so far. Popeye by the classic Bobby London series. And then from Berkeley Breast, we got Bloom County, Outland and Opus there. And there are some that they'd started and weren't popular enough and ended up being cancelled, like the Family Circus, Kingaroo, that type of thing. But hey, what can you do? They at least try. Up here, Bringing Up Father, this is another one. There's only been 2 volumes of that come out, which is a drag. Same here with the Blondie. There were only 2 volumes of that. And then the beautiful treasury of the Disney comics. These are beautiful. I love these. Once again, the quality of the strips and the reproduction is just top notch. Ta-da. Pretty cool, huh? But yeah, I just love. Well, I'm a duck fan anyway, so it was great to see them get into the duck world there. Of course, over here, like I say, we have a few. Although these are more just the IDW ones than they're part of the Library of American Comics. I just needed a place to put them. Over here, of course, Bravo for Adventure by Alex Toth, or Toth, depending on how you pronounce it. Definitely like one of the giants. I mean, he influenced an entire generation of artists, from Matt Wagner, I'm sure, to Sam Neill, to Frank Avila. It was absolutely stunning. Beautiful, beautiful comics. Simple, yet gorgeous. Definitely worth getting this one. And then up there we have the great set, the Alex Toth Genius series, isolated, illustrated, and animated. I think one of these won an Eisner Award. I mean, the Library of American Comics has won 8 Eisners out of 13 nominations, and 1 Harvey out of 7. So those are pretty good odds. I'll be happy with 1. Then of course the Archie's Sunday First, and then the Archie series there, Superman, and the Batman. These, I was so happy to get these because I can remember reading those when I was a kid. They appeared in the Sunday papers of the local place. And then a visual biography edited by Dean Moloney of Kniff, a visual biography. Up there too, Treasures Retold, The Lost Art of Alex Toth. So a nice little Tothy section up here, alright? Anyway, that's, there you have it. This is my complete collection of the Library of American Comics. There's a couple jammed way down here too, so. But they're there. They're there. Now there's others mixed in there too, but here it is. It's one of the gems, like I say, of my collection, and I love it too, because every time a new one comes out, I get to complete the collection all over again. So that being said, we'll see you next week. I mean, still there's rumors that there may be comics out by the end of May. Let's keep our fingers crossed, and in the meantime, keep reading comics, and read some of your some of the backlog, like I'm doing of your comics, so that when they come out, we'll be ready for some new stuff. Okay, love you all, and I'll see you next week. Bye. Oh yeah, and don't forget next week to check out Thursday Comics, of course, the podcast I do with my buddy Dennis Osborne, and that's it. Okay, see you folks. Bye. Whoa!